Hi everybody, welcome to the August Woohoo weekend. I'm sure that you've watched some of the presentations and you've seen what exciting ideas everybody has. Some of them have been while we were sleeping, so I haven't watched those yet. But I'm in Melbourne and we're in lockdown number 6, so I have lots of time this weekend to catch up everything that we've seen. Let's get started on my project. And I'm going to show you my card in a minute, but I'm first going to show you the products that I'm using. So I'm using the Blackberry Bliss Suite, and just quickly showing you what's in the suite. That's the stamp set, so you've got that Beauty of Tomorrow stamp set. It's got lots of nice sentiments, lovely images. I found that with this stamp set, I just want to layer everything. Every time I do it, I'm layering it, and it's made really easy with the beautiful leaves dies. So you've got this big leaf, and then those will cut out the stamped images. We're going to talk about the little bird, and you've got lots of other leaves. And then the DSP. Now, I see Shirley's on, so I can guarantee you that this is going to be one of Shirley's favorite DSPs because Shirley loves the purples. So that's the one side of the DSP. The other side is your more neutral colors, but they all blend beautifully and go together. Now, let's just talk about this piece briefly, the one with the little birds on it. And this is what I was saying to you. This little bird die over here will actually cut out that little bird on the paper. So unfortunately, it only fits on the one bird, but hey, in my life, why fussy cut when you can die cut? So that one works, and we're going to use that in the card. Now, I'm very excited about my card today. I think that most of us always do a card that we like. We wouldn't show you cards that we don't like, but every now and again you make one that you're super excited about, and this is one of those for me. So I'm sure you're looking at it and you're going, yeah, that's pretty nice, but don't know what you're so excited about. Let me show you. So this is the front of it, all good. Slide off the belly band, and here's my excitement. How's that? Don't you think that's good? All right, now let's get started. There is quite a bit of scoring and not much cutting that goes on here, and that should fit back in. So I'm going to show you the scoring and I know that when we're working on the DSP, it's not going to be that easy to see, but don't get stressed out because I have drawn a picture, so I will show you the picture that you'll be able to know what's going on. I just need to grab my ruler. Sorry, I checked and double checked that I had everything ready and the ruler was on the other side of the table. So I'm starting off with my card base, and I have put up all the measurements. It's in the description, so you'll be able to see those. I'm not going to go through all of those too quickly. So for the card base, we're going to score from either end at 5.2 centimeters, and you're going to go 2 inches if you're working in the inches. So that's forming that gatefold. Okay, nothing difficult on that one. Now this is where things are going to get a little bit more complicated, but not terribly. So like I said, don't get stressed out. So I've got my piece of DSP. This is 20 centimeters by 10 centimeters, which is 4 inches by 8 inches. And what I'm going to do is mark the middle. Okay, so I'm just putting a little mark here at 10 centimeters on both sides. If you're working in inches, you're making your mark at 4 inches. Now, when I'm scoring this, we're going to score both from either end at, oh, where are my measurements gone? At 5 centimeters. So I'm scoring here at 5 centimeters, which would be, don't put the cutting blade, get that cutting blade out the way. So 5 centimeters on this side, which is your 2 inches, and then again at 15 centimeters, which would be 6 inches. Now I'm going to score from the corner to my mark, and then so we're going from all 4 corners to that center mark. Okay, so I'm putting my mark on my cutting track and my corner, and we're scoring across. Same on this side, center mark and the corner, and across, and again. Sorry, I normally don't like to do lots of repetitive stuff, but this one's necessary. Okay, and that's all our scoring done. Now, if you didn't, I suppose it will help if I put it that you can see it the right way. So if you didn't get that, that's my piece of DSP. I'm scoring at 5 centimeters and 15 centimeters, 2 inches and 6 inches. I've marked my middle, 10 centimeters and or 4 inches. And then we're scoring from the corner to that mark, corner to the mark, corner, corner. Okay, so not that complicated. And you just need to get that scoring. Then once we've done that, I'm going to fold all my scores. Yeah, so we're folding that way and that way. Okay, Nancy, give it a shot. It's not that difficult, and in my opinion, it has that really wow effect when you open the card. The only thing that you need to remember is not to do what I've just done, because I just folded all my score lines the wrong way. So just be mindful of which side you actually want it to be opening in and which is the back side. Okay. Once you've done that, we're going to fold this. So this will sometimes get a little bit trickier, but you've scored it, so it should fold. Okay, so we're folding it like that along the score lines, so it comes in to that little point over there. And then, nope, that's folding the wrong way. Why is it that one side will always work perfectly and the other side will insist on giving problems? There we go. And you can never figure out. Okay, so we want both of those coming in. There we go. Okay, so when it's folded, I've got a little square that looks like that. That was the most difficult part of the card. So let's start assembling. So for my base, and it doesn't have a direction. With this one, be careful because you don't want your flowers standing on their heads. That one will obviously have a right side and a wrong side. So let's stick these on. Does anybody else do that? I do it with pens as well. Every time I put it down, I have to screw the lid back onto the glue or put the lid onto the pen. And you really shouldn't do that when you're using it all the time, because I'll spend my whole life unscrewing the lid from the glue. Okay. Right. Now, when we're sticking this in, again, like I said, you make sure that you've folded it, that the side that you want opening out is on the inside. And if your paper is directional, when you're putting it in, make sure you're putting it that it's going to be facing the right way. Here it doesn't really make any difference. So what we're going to do, and I'm doing this one side at a time, is put that down, okay, so that it's roughly in the middle. And where I'm judging the middle here, it's more top and bottom, because we're going to line it up on the sides. And then unscrew the glue again. I think I'm going to put the lid over there where I actually can't reach it, that I can't keep screwing it back on. And we're going to put some glue on there. And now when I close this side, I'm going to line it up. Okay. And then put some glue on the other side, and I'm going to close it again. It does have a little gap. I think that that's just the way I've scored it, but that doesn't matter. You're not going to see it when the card's closed. So it looks like everybody's really excited with this paper. It is fun paper. It is really pretty. And you've got those birds. I'm just giving it a couple of minutes for that glue to hold. And when I open it, it's going to open like that. Next, I think we'll do a little bit of stamping. There's not a lot of stamping on this card. I just want to find, I realized that I showed you the stamp set, but I haven't actually put the little bird onto a block. I've put everything else onto a block. So there we go, birdie's ready to stamp. And I've got my little piece that goes into the center. So with the rich raspberry, I'm stamping my bird so that it's flying onto the card that way, and he's flying off the side. Now I could have had just, you know, the tail, but we're going to have two birds, so that otherwise could have tried to look like I was getting him flying on one side and off the other, but there we go. Okay, so that's our bird stamped. And then for my sentiment, I'm needing birthday cards at the moment, so this stamp set doesn't have a birthday sentiment, so I'm just using It's Your Birthday from the Brew Some Fun stamp set. I have introduced a few extra bits and pieces that I need in this, that's not part of the suite, so I'm sorry, I know it's not 100% what we should be doing, but sometimes you just need those little extras. So I'm going to try very hard to get that straight. By now you all know that stamping straight is not my strong point. Okay, not too bad. And then I'm going to stamp with this, I don't even know what it is. It's like a bushy twiggy thing. And I had that scrap of paper. Here we go, because that one's going over. Okay. I'm going to stamp this one in the, rich raspberry as well. And you're not going to see a lot of this, so you're just getting a little piece of that on that stamp or on the corner there. Now, what I've done for my matte piece over here, I've taken the scallops, and this is from the penned petals, and I've just cut it on the edges of that piece to make it that little bit fancy and pretty. Okay, so we're going to stick my sentiment onto that. And the sentiment is cut to the same length as this backing piece, the matte piece. Now I've stuck everything flat because this card is quite bulky, so it is going to be quite bulky when you post it. But if you wanted to stick your little bird onto a dimensional, you can do that. So there's my little bird that I cut out of my DSP. You can tell I'm going through all the birds that fit the dies. Maybe one night when I'm watching television, I'll sit and fussy cut all the other ones. Or we could just use it that you've got one big piece of DSP with little birds on it. Okay. Next, I've got a backing piece for my inside of the card. Now with this one, I've made it that it's got quite a narrow border. It's the drawback of this card, if you like, is that this little piece doesn't really give you a lot of place to write. So you need to keep your message very short and sweet. Otherwise, you could just stick a piece of white card onto the back of the card here and you could write your message. If you're going to do that, you probably want to write before you stick it on, just because once it's got everything in, it is quite wobbly on the back. It's not a nice smooth back. So pull in the right card again, and this is going to fit, and that's okay. I'm going to just open it out. It will fold again on those score lines, so that's going to fit on the inside over there. And we'll just pop those back again. Right. Now, because there's so much going on inside it, we need a belly band to hold it closed. So I've used the back of the same piece of paper. You're not seeing too much of the belly band because I've got that leaf over it, but I just thought that gave a nice contrast. If you wanted to, you could use the front side, or you could use one of the other pieces in that set. So I'm going to just, I haven't scored the belly band because I'm going to just fold it around, and then I'm going to try and fold it straight. Now you want it to be relatively tight so that it's going to hold everything down, but don't make it so tight that you're not going to be able to slide it. Okay. And then putting a bit of glue on that end and a bit of glue on this end, and we'll just hold that for a few seconds for the glue to grab. And I've cut my big leaf out of the gold shimmer vellum. Now, I don't know if you've noticed this in the catalogue. I love this shimmer vellum. Okay, I'm actually just ordered my next pack because I use it for everything, particularly cutting out these leaves. I don't know, it just seems to appeal to me. Now, when I'm sticking this down, it will just about fit on this card exactly. I think that for the US sizes, your cards are a bit wider than ours are, so um, you'll find that it fits a little bit better. But just roughly judging that, I'm going to go light with the glue because otherwise it's going to squish everywhere, and we can always go back and add some glue if I see that there's bits that, particularly on the end, that aren't stuck. I'm just going to go with that, and I can add more if I need to. Remember, with the glue, rather add too little and put more because it gets really messy where it squishes all over the place. I want to just shift you up and over slightly because no, it's the envelopes do give a little bit of extra room, so it's not terrible if your leaf is slightly over the edges, but you don't want it too far over. And here's where I said to you, I'm going to put a bit of extra glue on these ones. Be careful that you're only gluing the leaves on the belly band because you don't want to stick on the card because it needs to slide off when you take the belly band off. There we go. I think that that's okay. And lastly, I'm going to put some glue on the back of my sentiment piece, and we're going to stick that over there. So you're not seeing too much of the DSP of the belly band, but it is showing through, and like I said, I like it with that contrast. So there's our card, and it looked complicated. It wasn't actually that bad, right everybody? And I think it gives that real wow effect. So our two different colors, and we're opening up. Okay, so I hope that you've all enjoyed that. If you give it a try, please post your photos to the group. We always love to see what everybody's done. I think that there's nothing that gives us more warm fuzzies than when somebody's taken a card that we've done and loved it enough to make it. So that's my exciting card. I'm going to end now, but stick around because I'm going to be back. We'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.